Hi everybody, this is David Fisher from the Hazel Tree Group. I'm coming to you today by video post. The last post I did was 2 weeks ago. Post number 30 was myths and facts about bipolar disorder. This week's post was one of those posts that I wanted to do, but it kind of got me riled up, and it was where the mind and the fingers, I don't think we're going to keep up with each other. I don't think I can type that fast. So this week's post comes from a former Facebook post I had maybe 7 or 8 years ago. And it popped up the day that I logged a couple weeks ago into Facebook. And it was one of those, hey, you've got a memory on Facebook. So I looked at it and I thought, wow, that's pretty cool. That was a long time ago. Now I'll paraphrase the post because I don't have it anymore. But it basically said, people who are being mean to other people or being mean to you should really take a long look in the mirror before they say anything mean to others. That brought me up and got me thinking. And thinking for me can be a dangerous thing. And this is where the mind and the fingers weren't going to work, because it did get me riled up. I mean, there's so much hate in the world right now that this post kind of got me a little worked up. And what I wanted to do was do it this way so you could understand, the passion I have about this. This post came up and I read it and I was like, wow, so true. Everything is hate. Everybody's mean to other people. Why is that? It got me to thinking, like I said, about some of the other things in my life that have happened. Some of the mean things that I've heard other people say to other people, and some of the mean things that people have said to me. Why? I don't know. Why do people say mean things? What is it about being mean to other people? Do people like to do? Is it the thrill? Is it the joy out of seeing the anger in somebody else's face? Is it? I don't know. It's just kind of weird for me. I'm not a psychiatrist and I'm not a doctor of any kind, psychologist. So I don't know why people say mean things to other people. It baffles me. Our reactions when people say mean things are kind of, various, depending on who you are. For somebody who's very neurotypical, their reaction might be, somebody says something mean to somebody else, they may step in and say something politely to them about not being so mean and try saying it a different way, reasoning with them. But some of those people that said the mean things may just not care. This is what they like to do. Other people who are, again, neurotypical might get angry and say something a little bit more forcefully. What happens if it's said and there's somebody who's got bipolar disorder? What do you think our reaction's going to be? Could it be the same? Could it be different? Could it be a little bit more aggressive? Let's find out. The reason why I bring this up is because in my life I've had people say mean things to other people while I've been around, and I've disliked it, and I've said something. Very politely, I've said something. Now, I've had a change in meds, so I'm a little bit more like I was before. About a year ago, I think I mentioned this in a post a while ago, that in June, there was a suicide attempt. They changed my meds. They added a new med. They changed the way I took some of my meds at different times of the day, different levels of the meds that I was taking. And it's really worked out well for me. So for over a year now, I've been taking this new cocktail of meds, and I've written that in one of my posts, the cocktail of meds. It's made me feel better. It's made me, I feel like a better person. I actually had a meeting with my psychiatrist a while back, probably a month or so ago. And he asked me how I was feeling on the new meds. And I told him, in all honesty, Doc, I feel like I did prior to getting a mental health disorder. Now, that's saying a lot about the cocktail of medicine I'm currently on. It's fantastic. I'm dealing with things a lot better. I'm a lot better person around everybody, which is great. And I'm enjoying myself. And that's a big part of life right there. But what happens when somebody says something mean, and how do I react? Lately, it's been pretty good. A lot of the times I'll say things like, the old 80s, 90s, whatever it may be. Hey, talk to the hand, right? I just walk away and laugh because I'm thinking, really? You want a reaction out of me? You're not going to get one. But sometimes people cross that line. And that line can turn to cruelty. And people will say things that are cruel to somebody else or to you personally. I've mentioned neurotypical. If somebody says something cruel to you and you're neurotypical, what would you do? Yeah, I'd be upset. I may even lash out verbally at them. Probably not yelling, but I'd lash out verbally. Would I curse and swear? Depends on what the comment was. Would I seek violence on the person? Chances are no. But it would upset me, and it would probably upset me for quite some time. Me, when somebody's cruel to me, I've had two completely different reactions to somebody being cruel to me. The first time when somebody was cruel to me and or a family member, or both, I was angry. Don't get me wrong, I was angry. But I dealt with it in a different way. I was calm. Everything worked out. I made a phone call. Everything was great. We worked it all out. Nothing more was said. No language was used. It was professional. It's a great way to deal with it, isn't it? I think so too. But the second time that something happened was in a different setting. It was done in a social setting. And unfortunately, I was still feeling the same way. I was doing good. I was having a great time. Life was good. But what ended up happening was, it was so hurtful that I didn't know what to do. I actually just got up and I walked away. I was totally flabbergasted. I didn't know what to do. Unfortunately, when I did that, that's when it started to fester for me. I got angry. I wasn't around anybody. I did eventually yell and scream, and there was some people around, but it was family. So was it right? No. But did I? Sure. I thought it was a way of getting the anger out. Well, it didn't work. So of all the things I've learned in my life so far in these past 27 years dealing with bipolar, what did I do? I went for a walk. Went for a walk around the block. Well, the first walk didn't do much. So I went for a longer walk around the block. That didn't still do much. I was fuming. My face was hot. I was so angry. And the thoughts in my head of verbally bashing out to these people or harming them physically was on my mind. So what did I do? I removed myself from the situation. Probably the wrong thing to do in the particular social setting I was in, but I had to because I was feeling this way. Went away. Everything started to sort of calm down. Nothing fancy, but it sort of, calmed down a little bit. In my experience, that was probably, like I said, the wrong thing to do. I think I should have just stayed and talked to family members and tried to hash this out and stuck around in that particular setting. But up here, I was already off. I was gone. For me to go for a walk, I can understand why people would be thinking, oh God, don't let him go for a walk. He's a flight risk. Because usually what happens for me is when I take off, there's usually a suicide attempt in the takeoff. I'm gone. I'm going to end it. That's all there is to it. So I understood them saying, don't go for a walk, don't walk around, don't drive anywhere, don't do anything. But I did, and I left. But I had to, because I didn't know what else to do at the time, because the thoughts were just racing through my head. I went home, or to the place I was staying, and I turned on a movie to calm my nerves. Now, it wasn't, Die Hard or anything like that, which, by the way, is not a Christmas movie. But I didn't turn on Die Hard. I turned on a movie called Field of Dreams. What a great movie, don't you think? It's a great story. It's based on a true story. It was awful. It was about baseball, the American pastime. So I watched it. And I thought, wow, what a great movie. So I was a little bit calmer, but still, the thoughts were going through my head like crazy. I managed to get myself back to my own home. And this is where things started to kind of unravel for me a little bit. I didn't fly away. I didn't go anywhere. But this is where a neurotypical and a bipolar person have two different thought processes when this happens. Neurotypical would probably maybe even make a list of things that they wanted to get off their chest or things that bothered them. Anything like that. Myself, everything was up here. It was just I was having arguments with people in my head that didn't even exist. This is what happens to me. I have arguments with people. They never exist. They never will exist, but this is what I do. Sometimes it aggravates me so much and it gets me so wound up that this has happened to me before. I stopped taking my meds for a week, sometimes longer. Well, let me tell you something. I'm going to give you a list right now of the things that I've learned over the years that will help you get through something like this. If it's this bad, I'm going to help you get through it. Not taking your meds should be the furthest thing from your mind. The argument you're having in your head about what's going on and saying, oh, the meds aren't working anymore because this happened. But you just told your doc a little while ago that you were feeling the best you felt since prior to this. Continue to take those meds. They are the best thing for you. They will get these thoughts out of your head and you will eventually come down to a rational way of dealing with this. Okay? Stay with them. Do not change them. Second thing you should do that's usually helpful. Eat right. Okay? You're going to get into the point where you're just so angry that you may not want to eat. You may not want to eat the right food. Well, that's okay. But if it's only a snack here and there, that's fine. But don't start replacing meals with chocolate bars and chips and muffins and everything else that's not right for you. Eat the good meals. The reason being is you eat the good meals, you stay healthy. You also feed your brain. Your brain is now trying to work on this problem and it's going wild. And if you take all of that away, all the good nutrition away, you're not thinking right. So eat the right foods. Don't skip meals. I've done that. I've gone for like a week without eating, where maybe I've had each day maybe a slice of toast, one, a banana, maybe a granola bar, an applesauce. This is what I've eaten all day for an entire week. I can tell you what happens when you mix the not taking the meds for a week and not eating for a week. What happens is you start to get a little dizzy. Your legs get a little weak. You're not quite yourself. Again, now you're frustrated that this is happening, along with everything else that's happening. It's not cool, man. Don't do it. Just stay with the program. You've learned this over your lifetime of dealing with this illness. Maybe it could be 5 years, could be 10 years, could be 20 years you've been dealing with this. Don't change a thing. Continue to eat well. Continue to take your meds. Something else you should really continue to do is if you take nighttime meds, make sure you take your nighttime meds to make you sleep. A good 7 to 8 hours of sleep are going to help with the brain and the wobblies and the eating, and you might actually get back to doing everything that you're supposed to be doing. So sleep. Get as much sleep as you can so you can function at work, so that you can deal with what's going on in your head. The next thing you should do, all these things that I've learned over the years. That's 3 things. Fourth thing you should do, number 4, very, very important. It goes with all of this stuff. Continue your hobbies. If you play a musical instrument and taking lessons, continue. Do not stop. If you are like myself and build and repair bicycles, even though I shake, I still do it. I still practice my trumpet. I still take my music lessons. Whatever it is you do as a hobby, continue. Everything that works together, your hobby, which you obviously love because you have the hobby, is going to relax you. Taking your meds is going to help relax you. It's going to help you deal with it. Eating right is going to teach you how to do everything, mind, body, soul. Everything is going to be the way it should be. It's going to come back around. It may take a week. It may take 2 weeks. But don't change it. It will help you. This is my experience. These are the things that I've done and I've experienced over my time. Now, I don't want anyone to have to deal with somebody who's cruel to them and say something so cruel that they go really just like I did. Just, oh my God, what are you doing? I can't even do that. Talk to the hand with them because I'm so angry. Deal with it. Make sure everything you do is stayed the same. And have someone to talk to. If you have a doctor, get an extra appointment. If you have a wife that will listen, great. That's beautiful. If you have a really good friend who's going to listen, the best friend in the world, who you can tell anything to, give them a call. Tell them what's going on. They may not have the answer, but that's okay. Doesn't matter whether they have the answer, does it? I don't think anybody's got the answer. Maybe a psychiatrist might have the answer. Just make sure that you have someone to talk to. That's 5 things that I've just given you that are going to help you out in this situation. In my situation, when the second one happened, and this has all happened where I didn't eat for a week and all this stuff, and I did all this stuff. Once I started to get those wobbly legs and so on and so forth, I was like, okay, I'm going down a wrong path here. Let's change things up. Let's get back to it. It took me a week, but I got there. It's that simple. You've worked at it. Keep working at it. Please don't give up on that. It will help. As always, you can find me on the website at www.hazeltreegroup.net. My email address is hazeltreegroup@gmail.com. And as I always sign off, all of my posts, comments, and questions are always welcome and inspire someone today. I hope this inspired you, and we'll talk to you later. Maybe I'll do another post sometime down the road. Anyway, take care, everybody. Bye.